recent release of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, video game adaptations have been on my mind a lot lately. And to be fair, this might be because we're potentially, at long last, seeing the shift in quality we've all waited for so long. I mean, Detective Pikachu was decent, and I'm hearing good things about Sonic. Is it finally that time? Is it finally time for video game adaptations to have their time in the sun, the way superheroes exploded this generation? There are many who would argue that the entire idea of adapting video game IPs for other mediums, such as books, movies, and TV shows, is pointless, and that's honestly fair. I mean, chances are, when you put something beloved in the hands of someone who doesn't appreciate it as much as video game developers, it's going to lose its spirit a little bit. There are very few cases in which anything, even gaming related, has translated well to other forms of media. I personally think that most video game franchises are just fine on their own, but that there are a few that could make the jump to the silver screen, or even something like Netflix, quite gracefully. In most cases, since a game is so heavily reliant on stuff like, player immersion and an intimate experience, it kind of puts storytelling in the back seats. And so video games should simply remain video games, right? But there is one, particularly from Nintendo, that I've always felt had tremendous potential: the Metroid series. Now, why Metroid in particular? Well, there are a number of reasons. For starters, Metroid is largely action-oriented, a genre that's much easier to not fuck up for people, just looking for popcorn entertainment. It's also one of Nintendo's richest series when it comes to things like lore and established worlds, so again, it's an easier job. People have more to draw from. But I think largely it works because Samus Aran is one of the few Nintendo characters with a firm, consistent, and established backstory, and one that they don't really mess with much. And it's tailor-made for movies and television. I mean, come on. Orphan? Lost her parents? This shit writes itself. Personally, I think the Metroid experience far better suits a television series. I don't think it would make a very great movie unless you just did the origin of Samus Aran. She's a bounty hunter, constantly going on missions, and that kind of gives a producer of a television series an excuse to fill a lot of episode ideas. But even then, you're faced with a challenge, because anyone who's played it will know that the Metroid series is a series that's heavily based on atmosphere and player immersion. It has little in the way of story, and even less in the way of dialogue in most of the games. I thought initially that this killed any potential. I thought to myself, damn, I guess maybe other people who don't play video games won't be able to appreciate Samus and the Metroid universe as much as we do. But then I had an idea. I thought, hold up, there is in fact one creator of content who excels in episodic material for a younger audience. And he's even better at action, and no doubt a total nerd like us. The man I am referring to is Genndy Tartakovsky. God, I hope I said that right. For those unfamiliar, Genndy Tartakovsky is the creator of such childhood classic cartoon shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack, the 2D Star Wars Clone Wars series, and he even worked on shows like Powerpuff Girls and Symbiotic Titan. He's a brilliant artist and has demonstrated an ability to write satisfying, nerdy material. Just watch any of his stuff and you'll know what I mean. But it goes beyond just his abilities in that regard. Again, Metroid is a series that's very quiet. Samus doesn't talk much. And wouldn't you know it? This is Genndy's absolute best skill as a creator. He absolutely excels at writing plot without dialogue. Clone Wars, and especially Samurai Jack, prove this. There are episodes of these shows that feature almost no dialogue whatsoever. I think there are some that have none. It's largely characters on some sort of briefly discussed objective, with little to say and a whole lot to fight along the way. Sound familiar? Seriously, I can't be the only one who sees the massive potential here. Let's look at Samurai Jack, for example. Samus is a lot like him. She's reserved, quiet, determined in her goal, but always willing to show a reaction that reveals a bit of her character. It's fucking perfect. Hell, Gendy could even take a similar structure for the Metroid series that he did for Samurai Jack. If I recall, Samurai Jack began with an hour-long premiere that featured a large blunt of the story. Most of the story took place here. It was kind of a lot about the main plot, and it was kind of an origin story for Jack. But who else has a beefy backstory and then transitioned into simpler tales? Yeah, see what I mean? It's like he was made for this, at least in my opinion. Our Metroid series could start off with something like this. An hour-long premiere featuring the death of Samus's parents, her childhood, her Chozo upbringing, and of course, joining the Federation. And after that big bang, we then move into a series that has mostly episodic adventures in the form of various missions that Samus takes on as a bounty hunter. And you could have occasional story arcs along the way. It's a very, very brief idea, but personally, I just think this man was made for something like this. I just can't help but feel that this is a match made in heaven. Video game adaptations are almost always doomed to fail, but I really think that this could soar. And yes, I know that this obviously isn't going to cause anything to happen, but I really, really wanted to get this idea out there regardless. I'm giddy over the idea. And hopefully now I have also cursed you with the pain that this is possible, but will probably never happen. I mean, I don't even know if Gendy has even heard of Metroid. I'm assuming he has. I don't even know if he would be interested in a project like this. I've never met him. He did graduate from my school. As far as I know, he's busy at work currently, working on an Adult Swim series called Primal. But after that, who knows? Regardless, I just wanted to throw this idea out there. What do you think of a two-dimensional animated Metroid series written and created and drawn by Gendy Tartakovsky? Personally, I'd absolutely love it, and I'm really proud of this idea. I'd love to know what you think. Maybe I'm totally off in thinking this could be great. Be sure to give me your thoughts. And hey, thanks for watching.